Welcome to another episode of Hospitality Insider on Koni TV. I'm Connie Kim, and today we have a special guest from AH&LA, Senior VP of Vanessa Sinders. Hi Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Connie, thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity to talk about AH&LA and what we're doing in the industry with regards to government affairs. So appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah, wonderful. So tell us about AH&LA. And a lot of people are aware but not really know exactly what AH&LA stands for. Mm-hmm. So,
okay. Well, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. AH&LA stands for the American Hotel and Lodging Association. We are the sole association representing all parts of the hospitality industry, from the brands to the owners to the management companies to the REITs that invest in the hotels to state associations, independent properties, and we have been and want to continue to be the voice of the industry. Some folks might know we have recently gone through a change in our membership model and kind of a new focus on advocacy and communication and education. And so it's a really exciting time to be at AH&LA and excited to share that knowledge with you and all your viewers.
Well, that's great. So basically, AH&LA will be the mediator in between the hospitality people and to the government, all right? Mm-hmm. So how would you become a member?
You can become a member in different ways. Probably the way that most people become members, it's by property. And if you're a branded property, you join through your brand. So X brand at the beginning of the year sends a notification out about joining AH&LA, and the properties can decide if they want to participate in that. And then state associations also participate, and then independent properties can join AH&LA directly.
Okay, if they are not a branded, you can join.
You can
directly.
still join. Yep.
Okay. So in that case, what is the benefit of the members that you provide?
So I think there's quite a few benefits, but first and foremost, I would say, is advocacy.
Right.
And I think now more than ever, the industry needs a voice in Washington, D.C., and also in state capitals across the country. We need to make sure that everyone knows what the hospitality industry is, how many jobs we create, that we're in every state, in every congressional district, and really get that message out so that the policies that either Washington or a state legislature is undertaking really reflect the needs and the desires of the industry too.
Wow, that's perfect. So now, Vanessa, personally, you have joined the AH&LA not long ago, right?
Yes.
So give us a little bit of I know you came from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, well, I like to say I am new to the hospitality industry, but not new to Washington, and that is why I'm at AH&LA to head up our advocacy efforts. I spent about 10 years on Capitol Hill working for 2 United States senators in various policy roles and management. I worked for Senator Judd Gregg from New Hampshire, and then Scott Brown from Massachusetts, both moderate Republicans who believed strongly that you need to work together, work with both sides of the aisle to get things done, and that's the mindset that I bring to AH&LA.
Well, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, exactly. It would be. I'm going to try.
So, what is your passion?
Well, my passion in I would say every job that I have had is, it sounds corny, but I want to make a difference. Yes. I came to Washington 11 years ago because I had a finance job when I first got out of college, and it wasn't for me. And I wanted to come to DC and work on Capitol Hill and make a difference and get involved in politics. And I really have taken kind of that helping people, being involved with constituents very seriously, and I find a lot of joy in it. And I think now, being at an association, it's just we have other constituents. They might not be constituents of a state, they're all of our members. And so I try to have that view with myself and with our staff in terms of thinking about how we make sure that we're responding to our members, advocating on their behalf, and effectively representing them in Washington.
So now that, what do you see is the biggest challenge that hospitality industry is facing regarding Washington, D.C.?
Well, I think there's a couple of challenges. One, and I briefly touched on this before, but I think that telling our industry narrative, as we call it, letting your member of Congress know just how many jobs we create, just how important we are to economic growth, the fact that we have, the industry as a whole has had 14 straight quarters of growth. That's an amazing statistic, and I think that Capitol Hill and the administration don't fully appreciate the value and the importance of the industry in terms of its economic heft and importance in the economy. So that, I would say, is a challenge that we are up for and ready and want to start that communications effort. I think another challenge that the industry faces, and all industries face, is the implementation of the new healthcare law.
Yes.
There is a lot of uncertainty over when the various requirements are going into place.
Yes.
From a industry perspective, we have heard from our members they're very concerned about the definition of full-time employment, the 30-hour definition, as people call it, the definition of a seasonal employee, because we have a lot of seasonal hoteliers who need more people in certain seasons. And then there's a auto enrollment mandate that would require larger companies to auto enroll all their employees after a certain amount of time. So things like that. We are actively working with other industries and other associations in Washington to make sure that we try to make some changes. Today, there was actually a hearing in the House Energy and Commerce Committee on this 30-hour full-time definition bill, and we had about 20 of our members give us stories of how that was actually impacting their hotels and their business, their bottom line. And we shared that testimony with the committee. They were very happy with it, and they are sharing it too. So that's how.
Hold that thought, Vanessa.
Okay.
So we're going to come back and continue that story.
Good.
So when we come back, you're going to hear fabulous stories of what they're doing to combat all these challenges with Washington, D.C.
This is Ken Salyer with Tricus, and I want to thank you for watching.
You're watching.
Thanks for watching Koni TV.
Koni TV. Koni TV.
Watch it every day for the latest hospitality news, hospitality trends, or whatever you desire to find out in the hospitality industry.
Come join us now at konitv.tv.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Vanessa Sinders, Senior VP of AH&LA. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Yeah, we're talking about these big challenges with the government. And what is AH&LA actually doing to make this go away?
Well, on what we were talking about before was the 30-hour
labor.
The definition of full-time employment. And so what we're doing is getting all of this information and stories from our members about how it is actually impacting them, and bringing that information to Capitol Hill to the lawmakers, who are the ones that ultimately have to make a change in the law in order to alleviate this burden. So we are using our grassroots and our members to tell the story of why the law needs to change, and then we are bringing that story to members of Congress and working with other industry associations to encourage members of Congress. There's legislation that's already been introduced. We try to get as many sponsors and co-sponsors on that and push the ball down the field so that hopefully a change can be made.
You know, it really not just affecting the hoteliers, but what about all the suppliers? You know, we were thinking about all the changes that the tax laws that is changing, and also it really is going to affect a lot of people's bottom line.
Yes.
And it is very important that AHL's function to make all this happen. So what is the main thing for hoteliers and anybody who is in the hotel industry needed to be watch out or be careful about?
Well, I mean, I hate to go back to healthcare, but I do think that that's a big issue. And, you know, I would even say some things it's hard to even predict, but Like, for example, last October when the government shutdown happened, that had a huge impact on hoteliers and, as you were just pointing out, suppliers and other folks who are involved in the industry, because the government was shut down. People weren't traveling. There was a lot of uncertainty. And it wasn't even just cities like Washington, D.C., where there's a lot of government business. It was cities and towns around the Grand Canyon, because the national parks were shut down and no one was going to visit them.
Right.
And it was a huge impact on the community, not just the hoteliers, but everyone who was kind of affiliated and working within that community.
Yeah, right. So you make an appointment and you personally actually meet with the representative of government and present those issues.
And actually something that everyone, all of our members, should get involved in every April. We have, or every spring, we do a legislative action summit, which is a time where as many members as we can get come to DC and go to Capitol Hill and meet with their member of Congress and their senators to talk about what are the burning issues of the day, what is impacting my bottom line, and how can you help me? So this year it is April 1st and 2nd. There is information on our website, and we'd love to have as many members as possible join us.
Well, I'm sure that a lot of people are not aware of it. So through Koni TV, we're going to make sure people are aware of the meeting that's happening. So that would be great.
Thank you.
So now that you're here in Alice, so what is your main purpose?
So at Alice, it's been pretty busy. This is my first time, but it's an amazing conference. I mean, I think I heard that there's 2,500 attendees and so many people who are involved in the industry, especially on the investment side. So as I mentioned at the beginning, moderated a panel this morning on the regulatory and kind of legal legislative burdens facing the industry. We've been doing a lot of meetings with our members who are here at Alice to, again, talk about what are the burning issues, what do they want AH&LA working on. We did a breakfast that Mr. Marriott actually headlined with his daughter, Debbie Harrison, where he talked about his experience growing up and being so involved and taking such a leadership role in the industry, where it was a breakfast to raise money for our political action committee.
Yes.
AH&LA has a political action committee called HotelPAC, and I would say that is another important part of advocacy, making sure that our association can support candidates and members of Congress who are supportive of the industry and looking out and understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, that is absolutely most important thing in everybody's bottom line. And so now, what is your advice to the investors?
Well, the panels that I have attended here at Alice, that seems like the outlook is okay and looking up for the industry.
It is.
So, I mean, my advice for them, and this comes from my background in advocacy and government affairs, but I want everyone to get involved and to care about what's happening in Washington, because I think especially now, members of Congress really need to hear from their local constituents, their business leaders, about whatever law or regulation that is coming down the pike, because they don't just want to hear from AH&LA, they want to hear from the local folks. And so to me, that's what investors can start getting more involved in, can start kind of helping us tell that story. And a lot of them already do, but.
Yeah. So now, do you have an educational program to educate all your members what is happening and how they can actually access to it?
So we have a website that we put press releases and information up online. It's pretty it's deep. So you can go to the website www.AH&LA.com, and then we also send out emails to our members about various issues, important things that are happening. We do a bi-weekly kind of email newsletter on what's happening on Capitol Hill and the issues that we're working on from an advocacy perspective. It's very important to us to communicate with our members. We have a new tagline with our new membership model that is advocate, communicate, and educate. So communication and education, very important to the organization, and we try to do that in as many ways as we can.
Yeah, hold that thought. And thank you so much for sharing that. When we come back, we're going to share some of their future plans and how all the hoteliers can be benefited what AH&LA is doing.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
The first online
Internet
TV station.
for the hospitality industry.
Congratulations, Koni TV. If you have not started watching it, you definitely should. Join us now.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Vanessa Sinders, Senior VP of AH&LA. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
Thank you so much for all the wonderful stories you share with us.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. And now, what is the future plan for AH&LA?
Well, I will answer that question from the perspective of government affairs and advocacy.
Yes.
And we actually today
Yes.
unveiled our 2014 policy agenda for growth, and that lays out the areas of focus and our priorities for the year from a legislative and regulatory standpoint. They fall into 3 buckets.
Okay.
Workforce issues, so healthcare, what we
Yeah.
talked about earlier,
Yes.
making changes to the Affordable Care Act. Immigration reform, we are big supporters in immigration reform, comprehensive immigration reform. We were very excited when the Senate passed its bill last year. We are hopeful that the recent words coming out of the Speaker of the House and their interest in doing immigration reform is going to lead to something this year. So we will be focused on that. And then labor issues, regulations that are coming out of the administration, and then also these living wage initiatives that are, like in LA, only hitting or targeted to hotel employees.
Right.
We want to be, we will be involved in that. And then the second big bucket of issues, we call it technology and finance.
Okay.
So our our relationship with the online travel companies and making sure that there is a level playing field when it comes to our out-of-state online competitors. And then things like, and maybe people haven't even heard of this, but it's a big deal to the industry, terrorism risk insurance, the reauthorization of this program that helps create a market so that hotels can buy terrorism risk insurance, which is a big deal ever since 9/11.
Yes.
And it's it's a good program. And then things like patent reform and other issues that kind of fall under that technology and finance bucket. And then the last set of issues, government travel and tourism. We want to do everything we can to promote more travel to the U.S.,
Yes.
to help make changes to the visa waiver program, make wait times for visas shorter, help people get in and out of the country so that they come here more and stay in all of our hotels, and then also changing the narrative on government travel. Government travel is okay. There's a need for people to travel. You can create efficiencies by having face-to-face meetings and actually get more done. And we want to tell that story because far too often government travel ends up being last on the list for what to focus on. So those are the areas of focus and what we, from a government affairs perspective, are focused on for the coming year.
Okay, now I understand that the Asia will have more hotel rooms than here in a few years. And so what is your outlook on that? How do you see that?
I'm focused on doing what we can with AH&LA for our members here in the U.S. and doing everything we can to create a better business environment so that our hoteliers can grow, keep creating jobs, and keep kind of contributing to the economy.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your success story. What, like a case, this was a case, and how you handled that.
Okay.
And then
well, one example that I would give, and again, I've only been here since September, so it's only been 5 months, but I don't know if you're familiar, this patent issue, patent trolls, it's a litigation issue where we have found a lot of hotels are being sued or they're being threatened that they're going to be sued by what we call patent trolls, which are organizations that are going after a hotel because they bought a wireless router from Cisco or some other technology company, and this patent troll is saying they infringed on part of the patent, even though the hotelier just bought the technology from a company. And there was legislation that made it through the House of Representatives, passed. We were very involved in putting a Main Street face on that legislation, because as I'm sure people watching are like, what is a patent troll? It's a very confusing issue, and to know that it actually impacts Main Street businesses and our hoteliers was a big selling point, and we were very instrumental in making sure that that legislation was passed, and now it is before the Senate, and we're hoping for some action on that in the Senate this year.
Okay, that's a great story, and so good luck.
Thank you.
Make that happen. And now there are a lot of people are curious about what is AH&LA does for them as a member or as just a viewer, and very curious. So what is number one or two things that you want to leave with them that they can really digest?
Again, I think I would go back to the fact that AH&LA is there to represent the industry. We want to be the voice of the industry, and we're really committed to that. And so I think that's what we bring to the table. And I would also just add that the industry has such a wonderful story to tell. We provide so many opportunities for growth and advancement and good careers for all of our team members. And again, we create jobs. We're in every state, in every congressional district. And it's a story that people should really be proud of. And the hospitality industry has so much to offer. And
that's to giving back to the members. And so we are running out of time, but I'd like you to share a word of wisdom that to all the audiences, that what you feel is a success story of.
Okay. Well, my words of wisdom, again, are going to go back to advocacy and our government affairs efforts. But every day I think of this one phrase as what I am focused on, what I think AH&LA from a government affairs perspective is focused on, and it's this: if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And we want to make sure that AH&LA is at the table for more of the discussions that are going on in Washington with our elected officials, to make sure that, again, the policies that come out of Washington represent our industry and put a good foot forward.
Okay, let's be on the table.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, joining us today. And thank you for watching Hospitality Insider with Vanessa Sinders, Senior Vice President of American Hotel and Lodging Association. If you would like to more information, please go to konitv.tv and contact us.
Hi, I'm Didi Kim with Darf Design, and you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you are watching
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV, the first internet channel for the hospitality industry.
Watch and follow who she brings and what she brings to show you, to inspire.
KoniTV.tv. I love it.